All right, Shalom. Let me get straight into this lesson. So I'm doing a continuation from the lesson that I did yesterday. You're right. So it's going into Issachar, one of the tribes of Israel. You have Issachar, which would be the so-called modern day Mexicans, right, and so-called Hispanics. You saw that Jake, you know what I'm saying, do that mannerism. And where did they get this from? I was going into that, back into force Christianity conversion. So this is why most people consider themselves to be Christians today, right? So you're looking at an image when they're making the so-called Native Americans, which were Israelites, right? That was the Northern Kingdom, the 10 tribes that came over here, making them convert to Christianity or they'll put them to death, right? I actually had did a lesson maybe about a year ago when I went into that history, and I actually produced the receipts, right? So they would burn them, they would castrate them, they would cut their limbs off. They just put them to death, right? They have dogs rip their flesh apart if they didn't convert to being Christians. And that's why, and they really did a lot of the Northern Kingdom, right? The worst, right? Check this out. Now you see this picture right here, right? So this comes with so-called white Jesus. This comes with their version of what they want you to know. And this is why most people consider themselves to be Christians. That's why they believe in a lot of the Christianity doctrine. This is why their mannerisms and their gestures, right, that they do, right, and the way they think lines up with the so-called white man version of Christianity. All right. So check this out. You see what these Jakes are doing, right? And so when a so-called white man would go and colonize, he would send missionaries out. What was the missionary's job to do? To indoctrinate the people, to put them under Christianity, to make them bow down into the Pope and bow down to this image right here. And that tradition continues to this very day. Nothing has changed. We just woke up. So this new form of Christianity that sprung up in the Renaissance, when the so-called white man would go to all the places around the world with this image and with these missionaries to indoctrinate the people, change their names, make them Christians, so-called baptize them, fully indoctrinate them, right, under what they want them to be. And that's why you got a bunch of lost souls right now. This is the after effects of this version of Christianity. Let's go here. I'm gonna get into some pictures I want to get into as well. So let's go back here. Let's deal with this. So when the so-called white man will colonize, a part of this colonizing was to colonize your mind, to make you conform to his way, the way he do things, the way he think, the way he set the system up, right? A 9 to 5. All these things have been socially engineered to you. They call you black. They call themselves white. All is deep. Every facet of life. So let's go here. Let me show you something. Let this load up. So right here, this is a big mental thing on you Jakes, right? So Stockholm syndrome. And I continually go into this because this is, just because we woke up don't mean, most of our people are woke. They still sleep. They're in a deep sleep, all right, in the middle of the night. It says Stockholm syndrome is a psychological condition a captive develops after many years of torture by their capturer, where after all hope is lost, they cope with their rape and captivity by actually falling in love with, protecting, and even worshiping their captor, right? So this would be these great curses on our people. They'll be in a spiritual stupor, right? But this is something that you Jake suffer from. Let's go here. Let's go to this Deuteronomy. That's why Baruch 2:30 had to happen. We had to wake up out of this slumber. Deuteronomy 28:64. Right? And the part of you waking up is understanding what the Bible is really talking about. You didn't know that. You was lost. You didn't have no idea. You thought it was a love fest in the Bible and God was good all the time. right? You didn't even know the Most High name. You didn't know his son name. You thought he looked like this, right? This is that curse of you serving other gods, foreign gods. Our people into Buddhism, Hinduism, they into worshiping themselves. Some of them are atheists. Some of them believe in witchcraft. Some of them are witches, right? Go on down that list. Let's go back here. So all the tribes would pretty much be bugged out and lost, would be total confusion, and still under this this Christianity that they parents, and they parents and their parents were introduced to, right? And brainwashed and indoctrinated to follow, right? By death. It says Deuteronomy 28 and 64. And these the curses that will be on the true Israelites, not the J people. The J people that's in the land of Israel are Edomites. They come from the nation of Edom, the Amalekites. It says, and the Lord Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth even unto the other. And thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thy fathers nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone, going back into all these idols, like Cesare Borgia right here. This is the main one, right? This is what most of the people in this world envision when they pray, right? When they think about the Messiah, right? This is the visual that comes up in their mind. But yet they'll say they're not with so-called white supremacy, our people, right? Let me show you this. So this is what you need to envision when you call on the Messiah, right? His true name is Yahweh Shah. We'll get right back to that. This one needs to come up in your mind. This imagery right here, right? So when you think about the Messiah, this needs to pop up in your head. If it's not popping up in your head, you brainwash. And you'll be surprised how many people supposedly be in the truth and they still see this guy when they think about the Messiah. Even though the scriptures describe him as being a so-called black man. Revelation chapter 1, 13 through 15. And what's that, Daniel chapter 10? Yeah, Daniel chapter 10, right? But again, it goes back to this. This was beat into you. This was cemented in your DNA, right? This was pushed on generationally, these generational curses. Going back into what these Edomites came into the Americas. Check this out. The brutality, right? And you see the Native Americans were dark-skinned people, brown to dark-skinned people. You have a lot of these modern day Native Americans, so-called, are Edomites, right? Now you're going to have Jake that look like so-called white people, so don't get that confused. But a lot of these so-called Native American are Edomites, right? So let's go here. So this forced conversion into Christianity, and that's why the tribes, look at this. I'm going to show you some more pictures. I think this somewhere in so-called Africa, right? And you got Israelites all in so-called Africa, right? Look at this. This is right here. This Jake. This is what, subjugation looks like. This is what indoctrination look like. Their mind is black, dark, sick, right? And a lot of our people, believe it or not, still see things the same way. Ain't nothing changed. Just because we woke up don't mean that they're woken up. He's still in a stupor, right? You got to always remember that, right? This is what they see in their mind. Look at Jake bound down to these idols, the object. But where did this come from? Roman Catholic. You got the so-called Brazilians. So-called Brazilians. Give me 1 second. Which will be the tribe of Asher. You know what I'm saying? These are, look at this idolatry that you're looking at, right? These are the so-called Latin tribes, the Northern Kingdom. These Israelites, right? Look what they're doing. Praying to one of these popes. And you see in that picture, they got that false cross, which is a symbolism of paganism. And they got, as you know, as Jivas on that cross. And they're praying to these popes. And this goes back into that indoctrination, right? So going back here. When this all kicked off, So back here, right here. So this is how people still sick to this day, and they still hold to all these Christianity sayings. They hold to all these Christianity beliefs. Like a lot of people still believe in hell. A lot of them believe that Satan rebelled against the Most High and took 1/3 of the angels. A lot of them believe in that it was actually a snake in the Garden of Eden, so called, right? And that snake was Satan, right? And all this madness. They think that Adam and Eve were so called white people. They think their name was Adam and Eve. That wasn't their name. That's a translation you read, right? They think all the people in the Bible were so called white people, right? Because the images and the visuals that they saw growing up has brainwashed them. They can't get out of it. They in a trap. Check this out. It says the whipping post. It says our ancestors were tied to this device and beaten until they confessed their love for Christ. What Christ is this talking about? Let me show you. Right? Let's go here. And now this so-called white supremacy is moving inside of this country. It's everywhere. But you got Edomites at. It's right there. That's what's beat inside. That's why we don't say the name Christ. Christ just means the anointed. Goes back to Christos. Right? That's a pagan word. We don't say that because that Christ is connected with that image I just showed you. Right? That name Christ. It says, please do not believe us, but rather look it up for yourselves. That's why people say you got to love them. You know, they got all these things that they say and they do because they've been indoctrinated to believe this. And they think getting mad is a sin. They think saying so-called bad words is a sin, right? They have laden themselves with silly um, things, silly superstitions, right? Jacob say don't split the pole. This Jake is full of folly. Look at this. This is your Roman Catholic Church, right? I think this is the Vatican. But you see they got idols. And wasn't that not the first commandment, not to have any idols? Idols? Exodus chapter 20 and 1. But they do the opposite. And this is what our people follow because you got Jakes in this crowd, right? Right here. You know what I'm saying? This was beat inside of your DNA. Now you mad at us because we bringing this to light and we're not going to stop. We're going to be relentless till we get up out of here because we're doing this for the elect of the nation of Israel so they can wake up out of this stupor, right? Let's go here. I think I'm going to have to call a lesson because this thing is going to cut out on me again. Hopefully this lesson was edifying. Call Halal Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakak Wadash. Shalom.